Waldo is now live streaming Just Chatting. RFK Jr. has Brainworms MTG booed. Come feel the headlines with me. Oh hi, getting started in about 5 minutes. Toss any links to cool stories into the Discord and we can talk about them together. Discord. https discord gg beignet tridix 8
Oh, hi. Hello. How you doing? My name is Waldo, and I am here to feel the politics with you. The I am joined tonight by, oh, baby bark boy, Bobo. He's mad at me. He is mad at me because I am not playing fetch with him. He is very upset about this. Every minute of the day that he is not chasing something and dragging it back is a sad minute for him. So he is very upset with me because,
Wake up, it's another psyop.
yeah, wake up, it's another psyop. Uh, every night about this time, well, let me take that back. 5 out of the 7 nights a week at this time, I play fetch with him. He doesn't understand days of the week. I haven't taught him that yet, I suppose. I should send him to doggy kindergarten so he can learn the days of the week, and then he would know Mondays and Wednesday nights at this time I do streams. But on a normal night, on one of those other 5 nights, I would sit in my chair over here, and then we would play tug of war and we would play fetch. And so he's gotten used to that. And now when I'm here, not over there playing fetch, he gets mad at me, and then he sits under here and he bites my toes, and he's like, "Dude, it's time for fetch. Dude, it's time for fetch," and it's just not happening. And then that makes him mad. He doesn't get it. He doesn't recognize days of the week yet. But maybe next year. Maybe I'll teach him the days of the week and all that fun stuff. Anyway, how are you? How's it going? Um, I'm good. I did some yard work today and then I fell asleep. It's because I'm old. That's what we do. That's what you do when you're old. Hey kids, listen. This is going to happen to you too. You're going to do yard work, then you're going to doze off, and that'll be your life. That'll be your day. um, so hi, how's it going? Anyway, generally what I do is feel the news with you. So what I'm going to do, I've got a handful of stories tonight. If you want to tell us about a story, hop into chat, tell us what you think, tell us your feelings and all how you're feeling about the news and the politics and all that fun stuff. If you want to suggest a story to cover, you can do that on the Discord. It's right
Discord.
there.
https discord gg beignet 8.
There it is. You can go there, put a link to the story. I'll take a look at it. We can feel it out together. And you can go there and discuss hot topics and politics and arguments and stuff like that. Having a real good argument with a friend named Popog on there right now, and it's very exciting. It's very cool and very fun. He's giving me his opinion. I'm giving him mine. It's a whole thing on the internet. You should try it. It is very exciting. Or if you want to watch old segments and become a
Utbe.
subscriber, Utbe. You can go to Utbe. You could go to Utbe.
YouTube. https www.youtubecom at waldavideos.
Right there is where you can go watch all the streams together, all the old ones. All of the streams are up there except for like the second one I ever did 2 years ago, which was like I didn't have the mic on. It's a whole thing. And then everything else is there. Everything there is good. Everything is great. You can go there. I chop up the streams themselves, turn them into little videos, and put them onto the YouTube page. And then I put up shorts and fun stuff like that. And that's the YouTube page. As we can see, I type poorly. If you go to the Discord, you will. What happened today? I'm typing on the Discord. Very nice. I don't really type so much as fling my hands at the keyboard. I just kind of do like that. Until they resemble words. And then I check those words. And those words seem fine. And so I hit enter. And I'm excited because I'm like, yeah, I proofread that. That looks good. Then after I hit enter, I see about 9 spelling errors in a 12-word sentence. And I'm like, son of a bitch, how did that error get there? Dude, I looked right at it. I read it and it looked fine. I'm incapable of seeing a typo until after I've hit the send button. It's very strange. I wish I knew there was Waldo's disease, I suppose. It's Waldo's disorder, maybe? Maybe I could have an entire medical disorder named after myself where I can only see typos after they've been sent. It's very strange. It's very weird. I don't know why that is, but it is. It is what it is, and that is the world in which I live. It's a terrible world. You shouldn't be here, but it's where I have to live. All right. Bobo has chilled out. He's chewing on one of the toys underneath my feet. He's chill. Maybe. If he gets rowdy again, I'll put him up on screen and we can all look at him, I suppose. Uh, okay. that is enough rambling and preamble. Let's turn this light up a little bit so it looks right. Let's, yeah, I got daylight. It's a whole thing around this place. Uh, so let's look at the politics. Let's have a look. Let's see what we're working with today. Um, big, very important day. Very silly, ridiculous day even. We are going to turn the window capture on and go right there. There it is. Let's frame it properly. Let's put it in there. Maytag, Marjorie Taylor Greene, got booed on the House floor today. Very fun, very silly. Maytag, MTG, is a ridiculous person and kind of stupid. So what happened? Where is this the one? Yeah. So she tried to get the House Speaker ousted. She brought it up for a vote, and they all booed her. So maybe you'll get a kick out of this. I did.
There is so much anger in the House right now, and you could hear it on the floor of the House when Marjorie Taylor Greene went to the floor just moments ago and announced her plan to move ahead with this vote. Members of the House on both sides of the aisle booed her. Listen.
To be vacant. This is the uniparty for the American people watching.
Gentlelady will suspend.
This is the uniparty, she says. What is the uniparty?
If she had same and common sense, she would be embarrassed and maybe change her ways, but I doubt it.
Exactly. What is the uniparty? The uniparty is a common term that people use. Even I would suggest it happens sometimes, where both sides agree and move forward. She hates that. There is some dispute on what the uniparty is or what it means. Generally, it just means when everybody's mad at you. I know the people on the left use the word uniparty to suggest that Dems are in the center and the Republicans are in the center and only slightly right. The Dems are slightly left, but everybody's in the middle, and they all do the same thing anyway. You know, there's not a huge difference between George W. Bush and Obama. They all do the same things, and then Trump does the exact same thing, and then Biden does the exact same thing. And you're never getting a real change. And it's the fringes out on the left and the right that really want to change things up. And I can kind of agree with that. The status quo in the center is the status quo in the center. That's not a surprise. The people in the center want things to stay exactly as they are. They are balanced. They are equal. They are happy with the way things are going. They don't want to rock the boat. But the people on the far right want to rock the boat, like Maytag. People on the far left, like me, want to rock the boat. And so when she says the uniparty, she's using the word wrong. I think she's using the word uniparty incorrectly. Uniparty would suggest that both parties benefit, and usually would connect that to some sort of negative. But ignoring Maytag is a positive for both parties. The only people harmed by ignoring Maytag is Maytag. So she's dumb. She doesn't have any common sense. Well, common sense, again, it's feeling. So she doesn't have the political sense, honestly, to know that she doesn't have any friends and it is a dumb idea. This is dumb. Don't do it. The uniparty also tells you not to drink bleach. It's true. The uniparty has come to a consensus that you shouldn't drink Drano. I mean, they're right. You shouldn't. That would be a bad thing. Don't do that. Does that mean that it's wrong? No. Just because everybody agrees that drinking Drano is bad for you doesn't mean that you should do it. And that's kind of the situation she's in, I think. She's doing something politically stupid. And everybody on the left and on the right and in the center have told her, hey, that's stupid. She thinks that this makes her correct. If the people on the left tell you you're stupid, the people on the far right tell you you're stupid, the people in the center tell you you're stupid, well, clearly the entire world is wrong. Well, not this time. Do I think Mike Johnson's a good guy? No, he's a Republican. But it would be stupid of the Republicans to go along with Marjorie Taylor Greene's plan. It would be dumb for them to vote with her. I know some of them did, but it would be stupid of them to do so, because then it just causes more chaos and they get less done. And we're coming up on one of them elections. They're very exciting, very tense, very topsy-turvy kind of time, those elections. And they don't want to seem like crazy people. They are.
Erections.
Erections, that's right. We're coming up on one of those erections. And when she seems like a crazy person, when she goes out there telling everybody how chaotic that she's going to be, that doesn't make them feel good. It makes them feel nervous, it makes them feel skeptical about their capabilities of leading the country. So they didn't vote for her. They didn't vote with her. They didn't agree with the things she was suggesting, and so they booed at her. It's like fucking WWE in there. And she gets to be the bad guy. So let's see if there's
You
anything
really want
else.
to be the one coming up on the elections instead of the other way around.
Right. Uh, you don't want those elections sneaking up on you. So yeah, then she said something really stupid, and I don't. Marjorie Taylor Greene backs off the threat to oust Johnson as Speaker. I am so done with words. Oh well, hang on. Let me put on my white woman voice. I am so done with words. Greene told reporters after meeting with Johnson. Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene appeared Tuesday to be backing off her threat to force a vote to oust Spike Johnson. Wait, this is Tuesday. Okay, so I've got an old thing here. Anyway, she did it today, and that happened today, I think. I will tell you one thing. Okay, let me try again. I will tell you one thing I did say in there. I am so done with words. For me, it's all about actions. And that is how all the American people care about. So that is my white woman voice. I know. Thank you. Very good. What does that mean? I'm done with words and I'm doing actions. Like, what kind of actions? Like, calling for a vote and then getting booed down? Like, what kind of actions are you talking about? Because that could be taken in a negative way. Hey, I'm done talking about this whole government thing. We're going to take some actions and overthrow it. Raw, power the people. No, I don't think that's what she's talking about. But she's dumb, and she gets to keep being dumb. That's cool. I'm glad she gets to continue to be dumb. Maybe she'll lose her next election. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be lovely? What do we got? Okay, so this next one. What do we got? Shameless Judge Cannon may have killed Trump's classification docs case. The Trump-appointed judge has indefinitely stayed a deadline for Trump to submit certain information. Indefinitely doesn't mean forever.
Mulling and Twitter that's her actions.
You're right. Uh, tweeting, angry tweets, angry truths on Truth Social. That's her actions. Good call. Let's see. So let's scoot this over so everybody can see it. Waldo, you suck at your job. There you go. Indefinitely doesn't mean forever. Indefinite means they don't know when it's going to happen. Does that mean forever? No, probably not. Indefinite means she doesn't definitely know when it's going to happen. So when is this the trial going to happen in Florida about these top secret documents? We don't know. But if it's pushed past the election date and he wins, it will never happen. And we all know that, right? We all know that. If Donald Trump wins in 24, he will make this case go away. He will put the DOJ and put someone in charge of the DOJ. The DOJ will just simply choose not to prosecute those crimes any longer, or say that they weren't crimes and we're not going to bother with it, and he's just going to drop it. It's going to be gone. Gone. Cease to exist. So that is why everybody's upset. We wanted this to happen before the
At
election.
Shinsinto, it's a pretty bold action.
We wanted it to happen before the election. That way, if he had committed a crime, we would know it. It's nice to know who has and hasn't committed crimes before you have to vote for one of them. Before you vote, we need to know if you committed crimes or not. That would be nice. It would be pleasant. That would be cool. But we're not getting a lot of pleasant, cool, nice things tonight. We are just getting silly things. And because left-leaning people online are suggesting that this is because she was appointed by Trump and she just does right-wing stuff. And that's what the internet keeps telling me. I don't know if it's true or not. it makes me unhappy that she can just do that. Judge Eileen Cannon handed another reprieve to Donald Trump in his Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. The case was expected to be one of Trump's first criminal trials, but it isn't. The case was set for May 20th, which obviously won't happen. It should have been ready to try by the end of last year. Extending the 5A deadline indefinitely is the same thing as giving Trump an indefinite trial delay. But I think indefinite in that point means we don't know when it's going to be. But if she says it's after the election, then
Auditioning
that's
for
fine.
that next SCOTUS spot.
Maybe. He'll just add 7 or 8 more. It'll be great. Meanwhile, Trump has practically confessed that he took the sensitive records. In an interview in Newsmax, Trump claimed point blank that he actually did take the classified documents, describing the process of shamelessly packing them away while he was leaving office. I took them very legally, and I wasn't hiding them. Literal words out of Donald Trump's mouth. Why does the trial have to be
Pick me, I can follow orders and fuck things up.
Why does the trial have to be pushed back when he says he did it? Right? Like, he says he did it. We know he did it. We have the evidence to prove that he did it. Have the trial to determine whether or not it's illegal. Please, for the love of God, right off the bat. Even if you can say, yeah, it was illegal, and we'll put the sentencing until 2026, at least we'll know.
It was the most legal document taking of all time, the best taking, the most taking.
The most taking, the biggest taking, bigly taking. Yes. And because he said he did it, and we know he did, that would seem to me to make the trial easier. It would be even simpler because all the facts are known. What reason is there to push the trial back? I don't get it. You got to put your documents together? Well, fuck off. What documents? We already know. We already know he did it. He said he did. Why change it? Why do you need to keep pushing it back? Because he thinks he'll get found guilty and he wants to push it back so that he doesn't have to face trial for it. And that's sad that he just gets to break the law like that. I mean, it really does seem to me that Republicans don't care about the law. They just don't. They don't need law and order. They just need to be protected from the rules. And that's what they're trying to create. Judge Eileen Cannon is creating special rules, special privileges for people who are right-wing running for president. They just get to be super-class citizens. We don't have second-class citizens, unless you consider all of us second-class citizens, Donald Trump the first-class citizen, maybe. But everybody's equal as citizens. Then there's a more equal group of people that are higher up above that, and those are the politicians. They're more equal, you see. They're above us, and they don't have to respect the law. The law works differently for those kinds of people, and that makes me mad. Don't do that. I don't like that at all.
It's like the attempted delay in New York. They have too many cases to prepare for, so all the trials need to be pushed back indefinitely.
Right. It's too complicated. We got to push it back forever. There's no way we can get this figured out in time. Here are the other trials that we're looking at. Jan 6th is on hold, and it's frozen while the Supreme Court considers Trump's immunity claim, which they will take forever to do. Because they don't want to make the decision. They know what the law is. That's my opinion. And I'm wildly guesstimating here. But the Supreme Court knows what the answer is. They don't want to say it out loud. Because then they would be political. And they're stupid. The political choice is to ignore everything and let the election go on without having solved this. That seems like a political choice to me, rather than here's the law, here's how we read the law, here's how we suspect the law works. Go. That's kind of what the judges are supposed to do. But that's not what they're not doing. That's what they're not doing because they're terrified that they will come out and be seen as anti-Trumpers. Being anti-Trump is a political stance. Being pro-Trump is a political stance. Saying I refuse.
Democrats kinda pushed the trials to be this close to the election as a political choice to begin with.
Absolutely correct. Both sides suck here. The Dems did push it back.
Play with fire, you're bound to get burned.
Yep. And so, yeah, being pro-Trump is a political choice. Being anti-Trump is a political choice. Saying I refuse to be a part of either one is also a political choice. saying I refuse to rule on this Trump thing because he's a politician is a political choice. The election interference is a
Pro tip,
possible
don't
delay.
play with fire.
Don't play with fire. Good call, Popog. Excellent point. Election interference delay possible. Trump is appealing ruling regarding DA Fani Willis, putting timeline in limbo because they're appealing the decision that she is actually capable to run this trial. The whole thing with her romantic entanglements, they decided that's not a problem.
At Popo G42 Bonito Sexy, how could I not?
The romantic entanglements aren't preventing her from running the case properly. They're appealing that decision. Everything gets appealed, everything gets challenged, everything gets dragged as slow as possible. Because then they think Donald Trump's going to win and make it all go away.
A long, slow drag.
A long, slow drag. The classified documents is delayed indefinitely, and the hush money is in progress, and it's in its fourth week. Okay, so those are all the trials, 4 of them. It's almost like he's the anomaly, you know? I've said this before, Donald Trump is the anomaly. He's the weird thing about our politics. Not politics is weird. Politics is weird, sure, but he's an anomaly, and he is just special. I don't know if he made a wish on a monkey's paw or something like that, but he breaks the rules, he breaks the law constantly. Nobody can catch him, and I don't get it. I don't know why. I don't understand how. And we just have to keep watching it. He just keeps doing it. And then the people who are on his side that are going to benefit just break the law for him. It's very strange. Like, why would you do that? Let's see. What else have we got tonight? I've got that. I'm going to close that. Let's see about this and this. I got all these links up here. Which one do we want to talk about next? Ooh, we'll save that one for last. This one is RFK Jr.'s doctors said they found a dead worm in his brain. Okay. I make jokes. I make jokes sometimes. It's an internet thing. It's a slang term. You got Republican brainworms. Okay. That is a joke to suggest that there's something wrong with your brain and you can't be fixing it. And this is why you don't listen to logic and reason and stuff like that. It was because you have worms in your brain and they're making you vote Republican. RFK Jr. says doctors found a dead worm in his brain. RFK Jr. has brainworms. I thought this was a joke. I had to look at the calendar to make sure this wasn't April 1st, and it's not. He has brainworms. RFK Jr. said doctors concluded the dark spot showing up in his brain scans was caused by a dead worm, according to a report in a 2012 deposition given as part of his divorce proceedings. The now presidential candidate said clinicians first believed he had a tumor, but then he received a call from a New York Presbyterian hospital doctor. He thought he actually had a dead parasite inside his head, according to New York Times.
Brainworms are usually caused by vaccines and consistent seatbelt usage.
That's where I think that's where it's going to go. Kennedy said that the deposition the doctor thought the spot on the scan was caused by a worm that got into my brain and ate a portion of it and then died. So the worm got into his brain, ate some brain, then died of old age apparently, or maybe his brain was all gross and diseased. He had initially consulted with neurologists after suffering memory loss.
But I got better.
And his mental fogginess, according to the Times, but Kennedy now says he has recovered and is not experiencing any after effects from the parasite. He added that he doesn't know what kind of parasite he'd contracted or where he got it, but speculated it may have come during a trip to South Asia. Okay. It's not an impossible thing. I want to say that there's certain parasites and stuff like that in pork, and third world pork. If you went to South Asia and ate some pork, there's entirely a possibility that there's a thing in there and it gets in your brain and eats your brain. It's not good. And that's part of his 2012 divorce hearing. So you have to measure that in there. Was he just saying that to get out of something? I don't know. It's a good excuse for not going into work.
South Asian pork brainworms.
That's right. the it's a good way to get out of stuff. If you're in trouble or you don't want to go to work, you could be like call into work with Brainworms. Be like, hey, boss, listen, I got a worm in my brain. It works once or twice, I suppose. Maybe he was just trying to dodge some alimony payments or something
They're
like that.
actually considered a delicacy.
Ooh, are they tasty? Are they deep fried? Did he get a raw one? Maybe that was what it was. Maybe it was you're supposed to serve them deep fried, and he had it raw, sushi style, deep raw brainworms. But they don't call them brainworms because you're eating them, right? So um, he's an adventurous eater. I can't complain about that. I love that idea. But yeah, he has brainworms. So now we get to say it.
Don't eat the brainworm sashimi.
Brainworm sashimi. Yeah. Now we just get to say it. RFK Jr. has brainworms. Like that's a literal fact now. Don't you? Aren't we living in a much better world now than we were before that story broke? I'm telling you, it's all uphill from here. I'm giving up my pessimism and I am optimism from now on. RFK has brainworms. Anytime you feel pessimistic, what you do is you just remember RFK Jr. has brainworms. And how would he put it? He would say, I went to South Asia and I had the brainworms sashimi. It was delicious, but it was undercooked, and it gave me a parasite in my brain. It's probably because of the uh, uh, immunizations. I think I had a flu shot that year. Yeah, I didn't want it, but they said I had to have it, so I had a flu shot. It's probably the reason. Yeah, it was probably an immunization, a vaccine. Yeah, I think that could have caused it. I anytime I get Doomer, you guys, you got to type it into chat. RFK Jr. has brainworms. I'm about to get Doomer, aren't we? All right, here we go. So, Israeli tanks have rolled into Rafah. What does that mean for the Palestinians sheltering there? Um, it's a kind of a
No
bad time.
surprise you got RFK to come on the show tonight. Hell, come on any podcast.
He will show up for anything. It's true. Even to the thousands of viewers that Waldo has. It looks like there's 5, which is great. I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Press the sub button, press the like button, press the follow button, and all that jazz. I appreciate you. Thank you. What is it? Oh yeah. Uh, Israeli tanks have entered the periphery of Rafah early Tuesday, stoked global fears that an offensive on Gaza's
Waldo, the
southmost
Trump
city.
derangement syndrome patient L.
Yeah, that's me. Uh, except, we'll get into that in a minute. The ground assault dimmed hopes for an immediate ceasefire deal that the U.S., Egypt, and Qatar have spent months pushing for. In the hours before the attack began, Hamas agreed to a ceasefire proposal that the Israeli government swiftly rejected. And Hamas wasn't being entirely truthful and honest. Imagine that. Shocker. I know. Hamas wasn't exactly uh, being entirely forthwith and truthful. They only agreed to the ceasefire like right before the attack started.
The proposal was interesting. Okay, Waldo, please do the delicious unravel.
Right. The proposal was kind of a mess. Both sides hated it. I mean, both sides were trying to get one over on the other. Does this thing discuss what was in it? I don't think it does, but it doesn't matter now since it's over. About 1.3 million Palestinians, more than half of Gaza's population, are jammed into Rafah and face the prospect of having to evacuate with no good plan for where to find adequate shelter. Here's what we know so far about the operation evacuation plan. Now that Israel has begun ordering Palestine.
AP, you think AP is unbiased?
You think AP is unbiased? Yes, Tyler. If you don't think they are, it's because you're biased, you see. Let's see. It's sending them to patch the land whose current inhabitants say is little more than a makeshift tent camp with squalid conditions. On Monday, Israel issued a warning to evacuate the area, eastern Rafah, where approximately 100,000 Palestinians are sheltering. Israel encouraged the evacuees to move to Muwasi, an Israel-declared safe zone that it says has expanded and will be equipped with field hospitals, shelter materials, and other facilities. UN and 8 organizations say Mawasi is not ready to shelter
That
10,000 people.
MSDNC anchors really ate your brain, hell. AP is the most boring milquetoast news source.
I agree, Popog. That's why I trust it. The news is actually quite boring. It's the fun, exciting opinionation that you add to it that makes it personal and fun and interesting. The AP is incredibly boring, as is PBS, which is why I go there all the time to get like actual news. You go there, you get facts and a description of what happened, and then you can come up with your own opinions. Tyler, if you're suggesting that the AP is not factual, it's because you live outside reality. Mawasi stretches there. Israel unilaterally declared the area a humanitarian zone, and the Associated Press journalists saw dozens of Palestinians arriving in northern Mawasi on Monday. Although there were dozens of empty tents nearby, there were a few signs of wide-scale preparation being made to accommodate the large influx of evacuees that was expected. Other Palestinians across Rafah, even those outside the evacuation zone, have decided to head to central Gaza or Khan Yunis instead of Mawasi. So they're just leaving the tent city they have to go to a different tent city. I don't think this is working. It's not working. They're just going to keep chasing them around. We go over here, so we have to bomb. Then some of them will die. Go over there, so we can bomb the place that you just were. Then some of them will die. Go over to this place C while we bomb place B, and then some of them will die. Go over to place D while we bomb place C. Then some of them will die. That's the plan, I think. Only the news sources run by brainworms can really be trusted. Brainworms know best. It's brainworms all day, baby. Non-stop brainworms, every day, forever. I'm here for it. Eat the brainworms, live the brainworms, love the brainworms. It's good. I don't think there's any. This isn't going to end the conflict. This isn't only going to extend it. If you let them stay in one place for a little while, maybe they can start building things and setting up shelters and things like that, but they're not going to let them rest. They're just going to do this forever until somebody stops them or they run out of Israelis. Or, I mean, they run out of Palestinians to bomb. They will just keep chasing them around. Let's see. What else is in the news today? It's not good. Most of it is not good. Okay. Oh, yeah, I remember this. Okay, that one there, that one there, that one there, and then this lady. Okay, so let's start with this one. I've set up a clip here of Mitt Romney talking about why they're banning TikTok. Don't you have kids? Do you have anything better to do than run Palestine 1,000 times a day? I'd spend 2 hours, or maybe 2, 4, about 6 hours a week talking about the news with you, Tyler. I'm entirely capable of putting that many hours in. I mean, I have a lot of hours in a week. I expect 2 more serious offenses after Rafah, so assuming they actually go in this week, I'd expect this to be wrapped up by June, July. What does wrapped up mean to you? I really think that they're just going to keep doing this until we all tell them to stop, and they don't have any goodwill anymore, and then there aren't any rockets flying across, and then everybody's like, dude, stop, and then they stop, and then wherever the hot potato musical chairs game ends, those Palestinians will stay there. They'll start building up shelters, and then they'll still be second-class citizens who can't get rights and can't get freedom and can't get outside of their open-air prison. And then some of them will get angry, the fact that they are second-class citizens living in an open-air prison, and then they will fight back. And then Israel will put nice juicy targets right outside there, and I'm not even kidding. I kind of think that's what they do. That big music festival that got bombed or got attacked on October 7th was an intentional target. They put them there intentionally, willingly, so that things could go wrong. If they go wrong, they have a good reason to bomb them. You love crave censorship, don't you? What are you talking about? Wrapped up means the final couple Hamas brigades, I think 2, are defeated and all hostages and their bodies are recovered. I hope that's true, Popog. I really do. I hope it is. I don't think Hamas will go away or can go away while they're living inside the open air prison, while they're inside an apartheid state. From an apartheid state will always create Hamases. I don't know what you're talking about, Tyler. I love that you're all over the road and having a conversation all by yourself. Um, within an apartheid state, Hamas will always pop up. Within an apartheid state, the violence will always creep back up. Might take a few days off. It might take a few years off while the everything settles down and everybody calms down. But at some point, they're going to get angry. The Palestinian was run and attended by leftists who were very much pro-Palestinian. Okay, they, they, it was there within striking distance for a purpose, for a reason. I think if it goes off well, great, no problem. If Hamas attacks it, then great, we get to go and bomb thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So especially no way it's a false flag. I'm not saying it was a false flag. I'm not suggesting a false flag that they intentionally wanted Hamas to come attack it. But what they do is allow things to be right on that border, is what I'm saying. Let's see. Tyler's getting auto-modded. Sorry, Tyler. The automatic moderation device within Twitch is shutting you down right now because you're a lunatic. I appreciate that. Thank you. I love my lunatic try. Yeah, there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last 4 Tyler things have been auto-modded. Not by me, but by Twitch. I didn't do it. You did, man. I'm looking at them. Your last 4 or 5 things have been auto-modded by Twitch. They don't. Whatever you're typing in, Twitch has said, "This is terrible. Stop." You're not allowed to type that on their platform, which is fine. That's their platform. They're allowed to auto-mod you. What are we talking about? Tyler just reduced the number of slurs in your message slightly. Right, that's all you got to do, man. just lower the number of slurs. Even I don't even have to go to 0 slurs. Just slightly less. Okay, what do we got? Okay, what are we talking about? We're talking about censorship. Since Tyler brought it up, here is Mitt Romney doing some censorship. Right-wing Republican. Ran for president as a Republican, Mitt Romney, talking to you about censorship. He's about to do it. He's about to describe it. He's about to tell you about the censorship that he's doing and he approves of.
Typically the Israelis are good at PR. What's happened here? How have they and we been so ineffective at communicating
communicating the things that we're doing that the people really, really don't want. The things that I'm seeing I don't like. The left and the people paying attention on the college courses, the college campuses, the reason they're protesting is because of the things that Israel is doing. And he's like, why are we losing the PR battle? Because you're murdering people, maybe? I don't like this war. Please stop.
The realities there. And
we're on an intravenous feed of information with new impulses, inputs every millisecond. And of course, the way this is played out on social media has dominated the narrative. And you have a social media ecosystem environment in which context, history, facts get lost, and the emotion, the impact of images dominates. And we can't discount that. But I think it also has a very, very, very challenging effect on the narrative.
The problem with our narrative, though, with Israel's narrative in going into Palestine, is that you can see what we're doing. That's this guy, what he's saying. You can see the terrible things that are happening because of Israel, and that's making us lose the argument. Yes,
a small parenthetical point, which is some wonder why there was such overwhelming support for us to shut down potentially TikTok or other entities of that nature. If you look at the postings on TikTok and the number of mentions of Palestinians relative to other social media sites, it's overwhelmingly so among TikTok broadcasts. So I'd note that's of real interest, and the president will get the chance to make action in that regard.
That guy doesn't like what they're saying, so he's going to shut it down. He just admitted it. He just told you, I don't like what's happening on TikTok. I'm going to support shutting it down. He's Republican. You see, opinionator Tyler, this is what they do. The Republicans don't like what's happening, so they shut it down. Yet they yell at me and call me cancel culture, you know? You're going to scream at me about cancel culture when Mitt Romney is passing legislation to cancel people. If I tell you I don't want to talk to you because of the horrible way you act, I'm in trouble for canceling you. But Mitt Romney's passing actual literal legislation to ban the things that say things he doesn't like. He's anti-First Amendment. He always has been. And he's going to say that that's freedom. The conservative mind has a weird glitch. To them, expressing right-wing opinions is to be celebrated and encouraged and never held to any amount of accountability. Left-wing views, however, need to be censored, and they're un-American, and they need to be investigated by Congress. If I use facts to disagree with a conservative point, I'm accused of cancellation or censorship. To the conservative, though, their thoughts can never be wrong, and their detractors can never be allowed. And what do they call this? They call it freedom of speech. That was for the short. Hooray, exciting. Editor Waldo, turn that into a short on YouTube. Good job, Editor Waldo. Let's see. Nobody wants your boy Biden, except for the millions of people who voted for him. Opinionator. He literally had more votes. Going to convince a streamer to vote for Trump one day? God, no. He's literally the worst human being our society has produced. The left wanted to shut down all the right-wing political opinions on campus because of microaggressions right up to October 6th, and then suddenly they all became free speech. I don't agree with that sentence at all. Spoiler warning, I believe neither left and right will censor you every chance they get. I don't think that the right was, or the left was censoring free speech. They're censoring harmful speech. If you really take them at absolute worst case scenario, they were trying to censor people from doing hate crimes. And that's a difficult thing to discuss or define. Defining what is and isn't a hate crime is very difficult. Defending the campus left, yes. Am I high or did I really just do? Yeah, I do it all the time. The campus left is usually correct. Obviously, you agree with their censorship. You're on the left. No, I agree with the things that they're saying, the things that they're talking about. I'm not on board for censoring different opinions. I have a handful of people in this chat right now that I'm not going to censor. Twitch will. Tyler, they do. They're censoring us. No, for anyone not on the left, they're censoring. No, they're not. They're not censoring you. They're preventing you from being abusive and harassment. Burley Campus left straight up rioted and lit fires when Milo came to speak at UC Berkeley. Milo, the pedophile hate monger, the racist, he's a bad guy. Why are you taking Milo's side? They rioted against opinions for years. Do you not see the hypocrisy now? Of course they did. He's going to be there. They're going to protest it. That's the way the system works. Hey, we've hired this really crazy wild guy that says crazy wild things to come and talk, and he's going to say things that make you mad, and then people get mad. Yeah, no shit. He is a bad guy. He deserves free speech. Yes, and he is allowed to have say those things as long as he's not harassing people. He's allowed to say those things as long as he's not harassing people. When did he get canceled? He got canceled from people's platforms because that they don't want to work with him. If he's bad for business, that'll get you canceled way faster than anything else. I forgot that free speech is only reserved for opinions you guys agree with. And that's the exact same thing that I'm accusing you of, my man. That's what I'm accusing the right of. That's what I always accuse the right of. The governor of Texas is shutting down free speech on those campuses. Mitt Romney is shutting down free speech with legislation. But what is the left doing? They're saying you can't be on Twitter. They're saying they are protesting you being at the college. That's the right way to do it. If Joe Brandon pushed legislation to stop Milo from talking, I would be against it. Nobody has. What legislation have those campus leftists pushed? What legislation have they gotten passed? None. Let me simplify this. The left rioted and assaulted people on campuses. Now they are upset at censorship when the shoe is used on the other foot. Do you understand my point? When did that happen? When did they riot and assault people on campuses? I think you've been fed a load of horseshit. They failed because they would not have sued into oblivion and lost. Right. So they didn't do legislation. He's serious or being bad faith. Just doesn't understand the similarity. I see what you're saying, and I think you're just wrong. The left isn't pushing legislation to ban free speech. They're simply not. If the campus protests are happening, they're using their free speech against Milo and against people who are doing their own version of free speech. That's the way it's supposed to work. Not get Mitt Romney to cancel TikTok. Mitt Romney is voting in the Senate to remove TikTok from your phones. And you're going to complain about the campus kids who are just chanting and yelling things. They don't have any authority. They don't have any power. They're just using their free speech. Assume you're wrong for a second. Great. Why? You have to give me an argument for why I'm wrong. So assaulting people on campus and then exercising free speech. When did that happen, Opinionator? Link, put something in chat. I know you're in the Discord. Put something in there to the left assaulting people on campus. Assume the left did push legislation to remove Ben Shapiro from campuses. I would be against it, Popok. I would say that's a bad call. You can't push legislation for that. Would that have been wrong? Yes, absolutely. Don't push that legislation. That is a bad legislation. If the individual campus, if the college says, we don't want him here, he's on a list of people we will not accept, that sounds fine to me. I'm allowed to prevent people from coming into my house that I don't like. Assume it happened, there would be irony in the current left-wing cries for free speech. Sure, but it didn't happen. So there's no irony. Dude, look it up. UC Berkeley, one girl got pepper sprayed at TV cameras and by a masked assailant. Everyone had collectively forgot how insane 2016 was. There are fireworks being thrown at Palestinian protesters now. There are cops unmasking and doxing the people. Did you watch the doxing video from a few days ago? Everybody they arrest, they put in front of a camera and pull all their masks off so that you will know who they are and you can search them and you can find them. The police did it. They're doxing people. And I didn't see that happening to right-wing protesters. I don't. If you've got a link to it, I'll look at it and then I'll complain about it and tell them they need to do a better job. The left gets that every day. Wearing a MAGA cap, and the left encourages that shit back then. It's happening to thousands of kids across the country right now, and it's wrong. It was wrong if they just did it to her for no reason. Watched the video, read articles, saw documents from college and lawsuit notices from Fire. One group of protesters attacking another is wrong. It's not good. If this girl got maced and bear spray by another individual, that is a much smaller problem than Senator Mitt Romney voting to close an entire business that provides information to people. Opinionator, I'm going to tell you that this is, I don't know the exact situation, but I'm going to tell you, I'll work with you here. Absolutely worst case scenario. This girl minding her own business, walked near a college campus wearing a red hat, and they sprayed her with the bear mace because of her political opinions. That's bad. That's wrong. That's a crime. I want the person held responsible. But can you follow me here and understand that that is incredibly small? That is insignificant to the senator voting to get rid of TikTok because it disagrees with him politically. Can you recognize how big that is? Good job, Fire, being support free speech against the left right-wing censors. Okay. So what you've given me so far tonight in chat is one leftist on a campus sprayed a girl, which is bad. I agree. That's not good. They're doing a bad job. And I'm suggesting to you that Republican Mitt Romney in the Senate is pushing bans ideological reasons because the TikTok puts out things that are not to his liking. One of those things is very small. One of those things is very large. Everyone agree to free speech, even leftist maniacs, provided they aren't assaulting old people or women. I agree. For wearing red ball caps, I agree. That being said, I didn't expect the left to ever defend the principle of free speech on college campuses. College campuses is where free speech should start. It's where you should begin. It is a place of learning. It is a place of idea exchange. Free speech should happen on those campuses. If you're being harassing, if you are being intentionally provocative for the vine, if you're going there to provoke people and harm people so that you can get clicks and views, then I can understand them banning certain people. I'm okay with that idea. That seems fine to me. If the students put together a petition and did a protest and said, you have scheduled Ben Shapiro for May the 15th, and we are going to sit right here in this grass to stop you from allowing him, I'm okay with the college even saying, oh, okay, well, our students really, really, really don't want that. We're going to uninvite you. That sounds like fine to me. Provocative? Provocative, if you're intentionally provoking things to lead to an escalation in their heat and their rhetoric and the violence and the excitedness. If you're intentionally saying things that make people mad, if you walk into a Curves gym and start calling everybody fat, I mean, they have the right to kick you out of there. If you walk into the Holocaust Memorial and start screaming anti-Semitic things, they have the right to kick you out of there. Makes sense. They're being provocative. Oh, I was just being provocative. No, you were being harassful. You were being harassful? If that's not a word, it ought to be. So close to getting it, would you fall apart when it comes to the other side having a voice? No, I don't. Where are the left harming the right? Tell it to me. Where is the left harming the right? There's no clause in the Constitution that says the free speech until you hurt someone's feelings. Stop it. Harassment is not allowed. On the extreme version of that I've just described, I walk into the Holocaust Museum and I start screaming anti-Semitic things. Do they have to just allow it? Is it just cool? I'm just using my free speech? No, I'm harassing those people. If the gym is a public school, they cannot based on the content of your speech. Colleges public schools have lots of laws about them. I mean, there's 1,000 things that a regular school teacher cannot say. And I comprehend the issue about that. That's a whole different issue, though. Harassment has to be targeted, individual, and repeated. Okay? If the Holocaust Museum was publicly owned, then yes, they would. Nothing's publicly owned. What's publicly owned? Almost nothing. I would suggest that those colleges are already just giant businesses. And if you're bad for business, they're going to try and get rid of you. The left-wing, the students who are protesting for Palestine right now are bad for business, so they're against it. The schools are publicly owned. But they're publicly owned? How much are they publicly owned? Okay. So they should be available for the public. If you are out there screaming obscenities, disturbing the public, then they should get rid of you. Not all of them are, but UC schools and UT are. Okay, great. And if you're doing a thing that is harming the public, they should have some sort of recompense. If you're being disruptive to the public, I know you can ban them from screaming. If you keep doing it, maybe. Then this goes towards protesting too, because I'm about to get to it. Yes. Are the protesters in the tents on this publicly owned land and irritating and bothering people? Yeah, they kind of are. If you're screaming BLM or Holocaust denial, they can ban you. Yes. The point of the protests, yeah, you must ban both. Yes, great. The point of the protest is to get all of the people to do it so that they recognize this is a big deal. If if there's one student out there screaming for BLM, I mean, they're just screaming at the top of their lungs, pro-black, pro-BLM talking points. Though they could be asked to leave, they could be told to keep quiet, but if thousands of you are out there, it becomes an issue for them to take care of, to talk to and figure out why this is happening. What are the demands? How do we make our thousands of customers happier, better, not so angry with us? Then it's censorship. Yeah, I could see them banning only one side or not the other. Censorship. To that in that situation, I could see that. What is the difference? The reason you're doing it. Motive matters. Motive matters. If you're 1,000 people screaming on the lawn in tents are all wearing white hoods and part of the Ku Klux Klan, I'm more on board with not negotiating with them and giving them what they want, because what they want is bad and wrong and harmful and harassment. If your 1,000 screaming kids are for Palestine, the motive matters. And yes, guess what? This is all based on feelings. It always has been. All politics are based on feelings. They always have been and they always will be. My feelings is that the people who are protesting for BLM are correct, and we should listen to what they have to say and give them what they want. Kind of a motive does not matter for the First Amendment. Maybe not. The motive matters for what you do after the protest. Motive matters for the reason behind the protest and what we want to do about the protest. If the flat earther is all alone screaming in people's faces in a public place about the flat earth, then I'm all right with them asking him to leave. His motive is bad, and I recognize that that's based on my feelings. I know it is, and I'm okay saying that. I'm trying to be honest. The person who is pushing the BLM stuff individually, that's irritating people, that's distracting people, maybe you ask him to stop, maybe you ask him to be quiet, maybe you ask him to go to a different place, or keep it to a certain amount of volume or something like that, or tell him to do it a better way. That's fine. Is it censorship? I don't think so. It's just conscientiousness, I suppose. Motive only matters if you're going to do something else illegal besides your speech, and your speech is a way to facilitate that second illegal thing. Shouting out battle plans to storm the Capitol. Well, I think the motive behind a protest would put you on their side or against them, right? If you aren't on the Palestinian side with these current protests, you would suggest that they're being political, they're being stupid, they're wasting money, they're bothering people. And if you're on their side, you would make excuses for them because they're doing something worthy and valuable and important. It's the only motive that matters for the First Amendment. You can... Okay. I think it matters. Motive still matters in whether or not they're going to come and arrest you or not, sometimes. I've gotten so far off topic. And what am I thinking? What am I trying to say? Protest is good. I want both sides to have freedom of speech. One side, I'm going to tell you, the right side, tends to be more harassment based and more racist based. They really just do. That's what I'm suggesting. Does that make me more sympathetic to the left and their protests? Yes, it does. I am more sympathetic towards left-leaning protests. I don't think I've ever hidden that fact. I don't think I've ever lied about that fact. Am I less sympathetic towards right-wing provocateurs who go to a college campus so that they can get views on their YouTube page and stuff like that? I'm not entirely on board for that. I want them to have the free speech. I want them to have the ability. But what I don't want is for them to. Well, I want them to have free speech. Yes, great. But you get to protest against them too. That's fine. Ranting tonight. Love it. Thank you. I appreciate it. If you're here, if you're watching, press the thumbs up. Press the subscribe button. Turn a frog gay. If you press the follow button, you turn a frog gay. Let's see. Do we have any more stuff? Yeah, anyway. The point is, Mitt Romney wants to censor your speech. And here we go. Mike Johnson. I just like this one. This is Mike Johnson saying just the stupidest thing.
No. So actually, on the first question, I mean, the answer is that it's unanswerable. That is the problem. States are not allowed right now to prove, if somebody claims on that simple form that they're a citizen, they can vote, they're not allowed to prove whether it's true or not. We all know intuitively that a lot of illegals are voting in federal elections, but
we all know it intuitively that a lot of illegals are voting in federal elections. No, they're not. He's lying. There's the Speaker of the House, Pastor Mike Johnson, lying right to your face. Oops, wrong button.
It's not been something that is easily provable. We don't have that number. This legislation will allow us to do exactly that. It will prevent that from happening. And if someone tries to do it, it will now be unlawful, and the states will have a mechanism to prove whether they are or not. And to suggest that this is some sort of revenge tour is kind of a silly notion. What we're doing.
No. This is just that's silly. Chuckle. This isn't to lower the amount of voting. No. Yes, it is. Spoiler, it was. Pastor Mike Johnson has no evidence that illegals voted. Tyler, I hope you're still here. There's no evidence that illegals were voting in federal elections. There's none. Yet he knows it's true. You know what we call that? We call that a belief. Belief is the problem. Belief is always the problem. He cannot, Pastor Mike Johnson, cannot wrap his head around the idea that Joe Biden got 7 million more votes. He can't. He cannot comprehend it. This is Euclidean geometry, non-Euclidean geometry. This is high-level physics. He's been told that it's true, and he's looking at the figures. He's looking at the facts, and he cannot comprehend it. He cannot wrap his mind around the idea because everybody he talks to, everybody he's ever met, hates Joe Brandon. How could he have 7 million more votes? There must be some sort of irregularity. There must be some sort of failure to the math. There's something wrong. It's those illegals. It's those illegals that voted. So he has a belief that millions of illegal people voted. He's wrong. There's no evidence for that. I'm not just feeling that he's wrong. There's been no evidence that millions of illegal people voted. It doesn't exist. There is no evidence for that. There's feelings. There's people who keep saying it. There's people who keep screaming it and shouting it into the into TV cameras. He just said it. He said, we all know it's there, but we can't prove it. He has intuition and no evidence. That's all he needs. To be a Republican, all you have to have is intuition. All you have to have is belief. You don't have to have anything else. All you have to have is belief. I believe 80 million illegals voted. Okay, well, welcome to the Republican Party. Have a good time. I believe that Donald Trump didn't commit any crimes. Well, cool. You're part of the party now. Welcome. I believe that the vaccine was a hoax. Okay, great. There you go. You get to be a Republican now. You get to run for Congress as a Republican. If a Democrat said anything like that, they get ousted. They get tossed. They get thrown the fuck out. Al Franken, a senator, there's only 100 of those, and he was one of them, got tossed out of the Democrat Party for pretending to honk boobs. He did. That's what he did. He took a funny photo and did this honka honka at a lady while she was asleep from like 10 feet away, but from the perspective of the camera, it looked like he was doing it. And they tossed him. He was gone. They said, "Hey, you cannot be here. You're done." Katie Hill won her election. She was young. She was attractive. She was excited that she won a House seat in a tough election. She partied with her literal husband and another girl and some weed and some booze. And then her husband took some nude photos of her. And then he, during their divorce, posted those. She got booted. They have no room for people who slightly break the rules over on the Dem side, which is why I trust them more. If you're screwing up, if you're breaking laws, they're about to toss Bob Menendez too. What is it? Menendez? Who's the guy from? I think it's Bob Menendez, right? The one who was working as a spy for Egypt. New Jersey senator indicted. Yeah, Robert Menendez. Yeah, that's him. Okay, they're going to toss him too as soon as they get a chance, I think. And that means that I trust them more. Now, let's get back to good old Pastor Johnson. Pastor Mike Johnson is telling you that a thing exists. There's no evidence and nobody can count it. Why is he doing that? Because he doesn't want people to vote. He wants to lower the amount of voting. He does not, there's too much of this fucking voting shit going on for Pastor Mike Johnson. You need to tamp that shit down. Bring it down. No more voting. Stop that. Republicans can't win if everybody votes. So they got to lower that shit. And that's what he would do. It already happens during the registration. Registration is when you register to vote. You get a piece of paper and you pick up the paper and you look at it and then you write it down and you fill it out. And then they double check that registration that you gave them, that form. They check the name, they check the address, they double check it against the records. And if you're allowed to vote, they put you on the rolls, the voter rolls. If you are not a citizen, you don't get to go on those rolls and then you don't get to vote. That's why, Pastor Mike Johnson, it's very stupid on the vote to ask if you're a citizen. It's already been done. It's already been determined. But he knows that. He's lying to you. He's trying to trick you. He's trying to lower the, or add, not lower the amount of people who voting, yes, by putting more hurdles in the way. By putting more hurdles, fewer people will make it to the end. If there's one hurdle to jump over, most of the people will make it. If there's 100 hurdles, very few will make it. Very few people will get as far. And he wants that. He knows that. He's trying to make it harder for Americans to vote. That's all there is to it. That's what he wants. He wants fewer Americans voting. He wants it to be harder so that the people who are older and the people who have the time will be able to get through all those hurdles and then vote for him and vote Republican. The people who are busy, generally, if you're busy, you don't vote Republican. I'm generalizing there, and I'm being a shit. But the more free time you have, maybe the more likely you are to vote Republican. I'm not entirely sure how that works. Maybe you should make a graph on that, Popog. Free time versus right-wing voting. I don't know. Because then you get your hippies who always have free time and don't do any work, and then you're out of work kind of people who are living off the welfare state. No, those welfare queens. They would have a lot of free time, maybe, or maybe they don't because they're working 2 minimum wage jobs or something like that, and they're getting what's the word? Welfare and stuff like that. Well, come here, you. I got a dog. I caught a dog. Look at this thing. Oh, you dropped your toy. This is the moose, and this is Bobo, and he loves his moose. There you go, Bo. Look, and this is the moose. And he just chews on the moose, sadly, when I don't throw it for him. Yeah, they need to throw the book at Menendez. Fuck that guy. He's doing crimes. Put him in jail. Kick him out of his seat. You see, if he were a Republican and I were a Republican, I'd defend him and talk about how great he is and how it's not really a crime when Menendez does it and it's not a problem. And then I would put it in front of a judge that agrees with me, and then the judge would extend his case and all that kind of shit. Don't do any of that. I think I'm being fair here. I think I'm being the one for law and order. What else have we got? Okay, what else have we got? We're gonna close that. We're gonna look at this guy. Well, I don't want to look at this guy. Fuck this guy. What do we do? What is this? Okay, so this is Lauren Southern. Have you heard of her? Does anybody in chat know this lovely lady, Lauren Southern? She is been a right-wing type person on the YouTube, on the internet for several years. It's about to turn though. Wait for the turn on this one. Lauren Southern is a Canadian alt-right YouTuber, political activist, and commentator. In 2015, Southern ran as a Libertarian Party candidate in Canadian federal election. She worked for Rebel Media until March 27, and she began to work independently. In 2017, Southern supported Defend Europe in their efforts to obstruct search and rescue operations of refugees in North Africa. Southern was briefly detained by the Italian Coast Guard for blocking a ship embarking on the search and rescue mission. Consequently, crowdfunding website Patreon removed her from the platform, accusing her of engaging in activity likely to cause the loss of life. She was also demonetized by YouTube and banned by GoFundMe. So these people did not want to do business with her anymore. She would call that canceling. People on the right would call that censorship or cancellation, but she's bad for business. Okay? Some academics and journalists have described Southern as a white nationalist for her promotion. Oops, I don't want to click on that. They've considered her a white nationalist for her promotion of the Great Replacement and white genocide theories. So Great Replacement, white genocide, conspiracy theories. She talks about them on YouTube. Though she has denied being a white nationalist, Southern promoted the Great Replacement conspiracy theory via her YouTube video of the same name, released in 2017. The video was reported to have helped to promote the white nationalist viewpoint and garnered over 600,000 views. She has been described as an advocate for white genocide conspiracy theory in her documentary Farmlands, in which she suggested the imminence of a race war in South Africa was in response to the South African farm attacks. I'm saying she's a terrible person. I will use my freedom of speech to suggest so. She's a bad person. She's a white nationalist. She's a right-wing demagogue. She's hard right. She's a bad person. She is alt-right YouTuber. So that's what you got to know. So why am I talking about this? Why am I discussing drama? Well, because it's funny. Let's go down here to the feminism. There we go. Southern said transgender people have a genuine delusion, adding it's body dysmorphia, and that's a mental illness. She criticized legal recognition for changing one's gender because people doing so might be dishonest. Southern has spoken in opposition to feminism and said that women are not psychologically developed to hold leadership positions. Those are her words, not mine. Don't get mad at me. Not going to be as great as being CEOs, not as good as men as CEOs. In November 2017, YouTube titled Why I'm Not Married. She said something about to sell the idea. That's not important. I think it was the good part. Okay. In 2015, Southern reported the Vancouver Slut Walk, a protest march of sexual assault survivors for Rebel Media. She said her protest sign stating there is no rape culture in the West was torn up. She shouted at the protesters in response, "Go to Africa and you will see a real rape culture. The third world countries," she said, "men can get away with rape. According to Southern, it's insane to focus on this one issue and say we are living in a rape culture. Men are getting fired from their jobs just for making rape jokes, not raping." Oh, men are getting fired from their jobs just for making rape jokes, not raping anyone. She said in a negative context, she wants men to be capable of making those jokes and not face any repercussions at their job. A protester from Canada Rape Crisis Center told her fewer than estimated 10% of rapes are reported. Okay. Okay, here we go. This is the important part. In 2017, a YouTube segment titled How Feminism Makes Women Unhappy, she said traditionalism offers a lot of stability in people's life. It offers a guide for how to lead them to the happiest life. Cultural Marxist agenda wants to destroy the family. Okay, so this is the important bit. Feminism makes you unhappy. Can you imagine what happens next? Hey, guess what happens next? Lauren Southern, How My Trad Life Turned Toxic. The online ideology doesn't work in the real world. She became a trad wife, doing everything her husband said, praying to God for guidance, and it didn't work. It doesn't work in the real world, she says. Shocked Pikachu faces. Right, Shinsinto. She says, be a trad wife. Be hardcore right-wing ideological, and now it doesn't work. I bet she wants some of that fucking feminism now, doesn't she? She sure wishes she could fucking divorce her husband, but he won't sign the papers, so I don't know. Now I'm ranting. Okay, let's see what it actually says. God, this thing's long. My accounts of questioning this individualistic ideology and embracing marriage and motherhood have resonated with social conservatives. Most of these, it goes without saying, I feel as I do, that family life and women's distinctive sex realities should be better understood and valued in the public conversation. Some of the more hardline positions that women should never work, for example, we should always be submissive, or even that women's rights should be voted to be repealed. Leopards ate her face. Yeah, how could this have happened? Exactly. Let's get to the good part. I should have read over this a little bit better. She was a telegenic figure for the brash, young, and very online alt-right movement, which emerged in the 2010s, quickly gaining international notoriety for her views on mass immigration, Islam, racially motivated farm murders in South Africa, and all kinds of stuff. Then abruptly, she disappeared in 2019 to embrace marriage and motherhood in her husband's home country of Australia. She stopped working to be a trad wife. Okay? She was, it seemed, all set to embrace the nurturing feminine domestic role promoted by the right-wing traditionalists, idealized by trad wife influencers, and criticized by progressives as dangerous and stupid. Imagine that. 4 years later, though, Southern caused a new round of shockwaves, this time with a video recounting what happened next. The breakdown of her abusive marriage, her return to Canada as a single mother, and a stint living hand-to-mouth in a cabin in the woods. Feminism told her that this could be dangerous and stupid. She said, fuck you. And then she was in danger and stupid. Southern has attracted vitriolic criticism from the right for speaking openly about how trad life went wrong for her. She, however, sees speaking out not as a betrayal of her own side, but as the continues with her early willingness to challenge progressive consensus on the topic of such immigration. What the fuck? You did something dumb and stupid. You abandoned feminism, and then you got hurt. That's got nothing to do with immigration. I'm not worried about saying things I'm saying right now. This is her quote, that are getting me so attacked online because I've dealt with this in South Africa, blah, 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 blah. That's nothing to do with it. I've dealt with this in my critiques of feminism, and every single one turned out, oh, maybe she was onto something. Okay, right, because you complained about feminism, and then you became a trad wife, and then everything went wrong for you. She tells me she knows many other women still suffering unhappy trad life marriages. One of her WhatsApp groups says it is like the Underground Railroad for women in the conservative movement. There's an underground railroad for women in the conservative movement who are just miserable. They wish they had feminism. They wish they could get some. There are some of the influencers who are not in, there's a lot of influencers who are not in good relationships who are still portraying happy marriages publicly and bashing people for not being married while being in a horrendous relationship. Exactly. If they were feminists, they wouldn't have to put up with this shit. All of these women who are thinking in their heads, I'm uniquely terrible and I'm uniquely making a mistake, that no, something is more generally amiss. Generally amiss. Anti-feminism works her ass off to be anti-feminist. And then she tells us that there's something generally amiss with society. It's that you're not feminist enough. It's a misogynistic society, Lauren. It is. It just is. There are differences between the sexes, yes. One of them is more important and powerful than the other. You want to fix it? No? You just want to keep being dominated by them? I suppose you could if you really, really, really wanted to. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing up this drama is because I think it's funny. Is this drama? Yes. Is this politics? Yes. Is it news? Not really. Right-wing woman says right-wing things, hates feminism, abandons all feminist ideas, gets mistreated. I think there's poetry there. There's a little bit of correct. Yes, dear, this is why the feminists wanted the feminism, so that they wouldn't get mistreated in the way that you have been mistreated. If you were a feminist, if there were more feminism, you wouldn't have been mistreated so. But she's going to continue, I think, to rail against it. Because she isn't smart. And I think she's putting her ideology before herself. Ideology be above yourself. She wakes up in the morning and says, how do I be a trad wife? And then she does that. Waldo wakes up in the morning and be like, what do I want to do today? And then I do that. What do I have to do today? Yeah, I live in a capitalist society, so I have to earn a few dollars. So I do that in the way that best suits me. And then I do what I want. Not because I'm a gamer. I don't wake up and say, oh, I'm a gamer. I got a game. No, I want to game. So then I do. She's got her horses and carts in the wrong order. That's what I'm suggesting. She wakes up and says, how do I portray, live, and breathe right-wing ideology? And then she works towards that. That's not freedom. That's conformity. That's the opposite of freedom. Conformity is not freedom. You can suggest that order is necessary for everybody to have the most freedom, and I'm on board with that. But she wants to conform. She wants to be described, and what's the word? A dictionary definition of trad wife, right wing, conservative, and she works towards that at her own detriment, to her own harm. She works towards that. And then when it mounts and mounts and mounts and mounts, and after years and years of it being miserable, she comes out and says it's miserable. Yeah, no shit. We told you that. We knew that already. We have anecdotes to back it up. We have data to back that up. Feminism is good, and it will benefit her to have some. All right, I'm turning the voice chat back on. You lunatics can hop back in there and yell at me. Ponathan described for 2 months in a row.
Ponathan 1 just subscribed for 2 months in a row.
He's in the lead, you guys. Ponathan has just subscribed for 2 months in a row. He is absolutely winning. I'm just saying. I'm just letting you know. He's fucking winning. And you're all behind him. Good job, Ponathan. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You are the winner. TTS is back on. So as you heard, the Lady Canuch is here.
Cries in poor.
You can get more money, Shinsedo, then give it to me.
3.
Look at this guy showing off. Good job. I appreciate it. Bite that thing. All right. So TTS is back on. I'm going to start up a video game, and you can come in here and criticize me and yell at me and tell me how wrong I am about the First Amendment or feminism or whatever. So that will be fun. Let's start up the game. Let's close this window and this window and this window. Save the changes. Yes. Get out of here. Let's go to Discord. No, not Discord. Steam. Steam and Discord are too close together, aren't they? They're both little blue circles. And on my laptop, they are sitting right on top of each other. And they're little blue circles with a white emblem in the side of it. And I click on one when I intend to click on the other. I need to separate them. Let's put Discord one space down. You know? Is Steam going to launch? I don't think it is. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. We're going to play Death Must Die. There we go. So, if you're watching, if you're paying attention, if you want to be as cool as Ponathan.
I don't agree. Light blue versus dark blue.
Okay, there you go. We're already off on a debate. They, okay, they aren't slightly different shades of blue. You're right. I'm looking at them now. Why do I keep clicking on one when I tend to click on the other though? I've separated them now on my desktop by another space. So hopefully I don't click on the one when I aim for the other. Because I was aiming for Steam just now. I was like, click on Steam, bam, and I hit Discord. But that's because maybe I'm just special and dumb.
You are a streamer now.
I am. It's exciting. I gotta be dumb and bad at everything. Or are they better at everything? I don't know. Okay, there we go. We got that. So let's turn off the window capture. Let's turn on the game capture. Bam. And we got, bam, Death Must Die. There it is.
Classic streamer mix-up.
Classic streamer mix-up. Okay, I got you. Okay. Maybe I'm doing it right then. All right. So, let me think. I got 2 characters maxed out on their skill tweeze. So we got that one maxed out. I got 3. I got the archer and the sorcerer. Let's do sword guy. Let's put sword guy up. Let's see if they got any. Do we have any items to equip for him? No. 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 Wait. Yes. There we go. Upgrade. Just do color upgrades. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the stats are. Just roll with it. And we're done. Doesn't he have a red bow? We're going to sell the rest of this junk. And let's get on the way. Do I have any points in this guy's skill tree? None. 0. Let's roll. Into the desert. Skeletons die. Die, skeletons.
Death to death.
Death to death, says Crom. White or better. Give me some. There we go. See? Blue. Chains of War. Chains of War are pretty good.
Death's overreach sunders our universe.
Warped attack, you become stronger and now bounce. Enemies you hit shoot out experience charge behind them. Your attacks become stronger and now bounce. How does a sword attack bounce? But it's white. We gotta do blues are better. Come on. Blues are better. Come on. There we go. See? Now it's red. Much better. How does a attack bounce? I don't think they do.
Hi again.
Black serpents are pretty good. Yeah. Earth elemental thingy. Here we go. Black serpents are... Those are white. Let's... No whites. I'm racist against white skills in this game. And I won't apologize for it. Do you guys think I was wrong about the campus protest stuff? Because I think while I'm more sympathetic toward the left-wing arguments, I don't think I'm being one-sided or biased. I mean, I'm being biased, but I'm not being censoring the other side. That's what I'm saying. I don't think I'm censoring the other side. Fine, sudden death. Now I'm out of rerolls. It means I've done it right.
girls have such a...
Ravens are good too. Where'd all my right-wing arguers go?
I honestly don't know what is going on.
In the game or that I was talking about? I was arguing with the right-wing chatters about whether or not I was being canceling
Talking
them.
about.
Okay. Yeah, they suggested that I was doing censorship or supporting censorship. But I don't think so. But they're gone now. Well, I do the news stuff at the beginning half of at the first hour, and then the second hour I play this game, or a game, and they came in during the news part. They should come in at the 8 o'clock hour to watch me play this game, and then they could talk to Canooch, and it wouldn't be interrupting my flow. But I still appreciate them being here and chatting, because they should have the ability to do so. Energy missiles. What's deadlock? The effects of your strikes last longer? What strikes do I have? Chains of ore. Let's do energy missiles instead. Life is increased, drop chance, or luck. Life. With more hit points, I can make my own luck. Feel free to hit me with some hot takes. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. Did we all get a good laugh at Maytag as she got booed? Are they being mean to her? Does she deserve it? I think she does.
The future.
I need to catch up.
Oh, Maytag got booed for
I am back.
Hi, Popog. How's it going? The Lady Canooch is back on. We're playing video games, so feel free to criticize me, or yell at me, or laugh at me.
Ketchup I barely even mustarded.
Yeah, I was catching Ponathan up. Maytag got laughed at, and then I laughed at that. She got booed, and I laughed at that, I guess. Time for laser cats. Die, 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 laser cats. Where you at? There you at. There you go. Die. Chains of War, knockback. I don't like knockback. Honestly. I'm a melee character. Why would I want to knock him back? I need him to stand right there so I can hit him again. And my right-wing friends have left. They came in during the news section, and then I have to turn Canooch off. But if they come in at 8 o'clock, they can get Canooch and Puppy Dog. No, it's still not time to play Puppy
I
Dog.
am still here.
Oh, good. You're not one of the right-wing. Well, you might be, but what I'm saying is you're not Tyler or that other one whose name is escaped me at the moment. The Opinionator. Yeah, see, I knew it. The hard Trump guys.
I am just not an insane person.
Okay, well, you can try, I'm sure. I won't hold that against you. I believe in you. You could be insane if you try.
I honestly don't even know who Maytag is. I wish Trump supporters could even remotely acknowledge how Trump contributed to inflation, but alas, brainworms.
Yeah. Again, it's inflation. It's economics. That's my worst subject. I don't know that it exists or is real.
Margaret Tate Green New Deal.
Margaret Tate Green New Deal. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the lovely lady that we make fun of all the time for being silly. The hard right-wing lady. If you don't know who she is, God, that's such a relief. That's pleasant. You live a
I
much...
spelled her name using autocomplete.
You live a much better life than I do. Oh. And yeah, brainworms.
I mean, at some point train wrecks are not fun to watch.
Yeah, you're right. But that's what I do, is I watch the train wrecks and then talk about it. Sometimes they're important train wrecks. Sometimes it's important to watch those train wrecks. Yeah, I guess.
Especially when they're encouraging children to gamble on Kick.
Is that a dig at me or KBP? Or did she encourage kids to gamble on Kick and I just don't know it? Because that would be delicious. Where's the boss? There he is. Hide from me. Don't run from me, you'll just die tired.
Death is not the end.
Ravens, sure.
I was making a dig at Trainwrecks TV.
Oh, okay.
Co-founder of Kick.
Ah, okay. I don't know that. Two points for the skill tween.
But also sure we can mock degenerate gamblers and child KBP.
He is addicted to the gambling. And it's my fault. I did this to him. He hasn't chatted all night, so I doubt he's here, but yeah, I did that to him. It's my fault for putting the things in there. Have you seen the 8-ball function that we can put in the chat? So you can type a question. So you should type a question first and be like, will Waldo win this run?
Will Waldo win this run?
Then you do
8-ball. At Waldo the 8-ball says sure-y.
Sure. 8-ball says that I'm sure I'm going to win.
Join the Discord to send links and suggestions. https Discord GG Beignet Tritix 8.
Feel free
Where
to use
you
that.
snort an 8-ball and then type support for Trump in chat.
Right. Oh, okay. So I think, speaking of 8-balls, I think that Trump has actually not been taking his uppers for the trial. That's why he's able to sit there so quietly and look almost professional. I think it's because he's not on his uppers. But feel free to use the 8-ball to troll me. Ask it stupid questions about me. my personal hygiene, that kind of stuff.
No, he needs to lay low and not run his fucking mouth near people that are going to fuck him up.
Right, which is why he's kind of laid off the uppers. That's why he's a bit quiet and respectful. But that's just me assuming the worst. Stupid laser cats, I hate you. Die. It's time for wasp ladies, which are always difficult. I'm not going to be able to catch them. We're going to dodge and weave outside my range, and it's going to be bad. Then I'm going to lose. Sword guy has short range.
Respectful, he got called out by the judge for swearing during Stormy's testimony.
Right.
Oh, poor Quite Donald the first thought he was all loud and over the top.
And what does he want to be doing? What does he feel like he ought to be doing? This is like 10 times worse. He wants to stand and grandstand and scream at all the people all the time. He wants to be very loud, very opinionated, and run the whole thing like a rally. It's Bobo time. Hi, Bobo. Say hi to the people. Say hello. Say, hi, I'm Bobo, and I bark a lot. Big yawn. Oh, nice. In about 30 minutes, we will play fetch, okay? I know it's bothering you. He's looking at the fetch toys right now. This is what he's looking at. He's like, I want to chase that. I want you to throw it and then chase it.
My sister had one of those and he was trash.
Well, this one is too. No, I'm kidding. He's just very, at night, I play fetch with him, sitting right here, but he
like
doesn't.
by children.
Oh,
so what's
well.
wrong with my definition of indiscriminate?
Your definition of indiscriminate, I think, is entirely too broad, I suppose. If the number is 60, this is Popog and I are arguing about an argument, or discussing an argument we had on the Discord. You could go there and you could read all of the messages that are in that Discord if you wanted to.
Discord. HTTPS Discord GG Beignet Tritix 8. Broad wouldn't broad mean it includes too many things.
Right, which is why I'm working on it. I'm being too broad. I think you're being too narrow. Right. I'm being too broad with the word indefinite. 60% is the number that the IDF has suggested is civilians that they've killed. 60% civilians, 40% Hamas. I'm okay with calling that indiscriminate. I'm gonna say that's indiscriminate. That's them painting the numbers up. That's them underrepresenting the number of dead civilians. The Euro whatever thing has said that it's 90%. Now the truth is probably somewhere in between those. 90% civilians dead, 10% Hamas is indiscriminate killing. Just is. They're not being discriminate by killing only the Hamas members. They're also killing lots, somewhere between 60 and 90%.
Okay,
civilians.
So then indiscriminate is not a good reason to stop a war as indiscriminate in World War II.
Yes, fine. We were indiscriminate in World War II. Also, that was bad. Stop fucking having wars. They're bad. They tend to murder a bunch of innocent people. Let's not do that anymore. I've always been anti-war. And what I don't mind, what I am trying to get to is that, yes, all of them are bad and all of them should stop and quit doing it. Is there a reason for your war? Yeah, okay, great. Are you indiscriminately killing people? Okay, well then it's slightly
should
less.
NT have just ceased-fired World War II?
If we could have, yes. It would have been better. to do so. It would be incredibly complicated. I recognize that it isn't always a realistic option, but it's always the right option. It's just that you can't get to it. This is the equivocation that I said was stupid. Equivocating what's happening now with what happened in World War II requires so many changes in variables that it's of no value. It was a different world, and we had different countries. Some of the countries that were there don't even exist anymore. There was an actual Holocaust going on. There's global politics is incredibly complicated. You can't equivocate them. You can't. Equivocating World War II and what's happening now is a waste of time. Is what's happening right now bad? Yes. Should they stop? Yes. That's all I need. You can, and I think you're doing so right now, compare what's happening right now in Gaza, with Israel, with World War II, and that's fine. It doesn't make what's happening right now okay.
It's not equivocation, it's juxtaposition. Those differences become the reason why we should stop one and not the other. Your version, if indiscriminate, is the same in both and in all wars, so it's n.
It's not a good reason. It's a great reason. Civilians are dying. Stop doing your war. You're telling us that you can discriminate between the Hamas members and the civilians, and clearly you can't. By their own numbers, 60% of the dead are civilians. By someone else's numbers, 90% of the dead are civilians. They cannot discriminate between the two, hence indiscriminate. And I can call for an end of war anytime I fucking want to. I'm not trying to be mean or argue with you. What I'm suggesting is, yes, if World War II was, if it were 1943 and I was sitting on the sidelines.
Do you acknowledge that in my version of indiscriminate, Israel is successfully discriminating?
I don't like your definition. Your definition of it discriminating is has a lower threshold or higher threshold than mine. I don't remember. My definition for discriminate is 100%, and they're not making 100%. If the number was 98% Hamas and 2% civilians, I'd tell them to shoot for 99. I'd criticize them and tell them, get 99. Is there anything you can do to get to 99% dead Hamas, 1% dead civilians? And then when they got there, I'd tell them, okay, great, good job, guys, high five. Is there anything you can do to get to 100? But right now, they're at, by their own definition, 60%, which is piss poor. It's pathetic. It's shit. And no, I won't apologize for that. They're doing a piss poor job. They're not being discriminate. They are killing people. They're shooting down ambulances. They've bombed all the hospitals. They've bombed all the colleges. They're killing innocent people because they don't want those people to be there.
I know you don't like it, but I have it, and I am asking you to acknowledge that my view of the world is internally consistent.
That
because
your view is
I could have an internal
consistent?
inconsistency.
Well, your view is consistent or inconsistent is not up to me. If you feel like it's consistent, then that's fine. If you feel like
and
it isn't,
I am asking if there is
one consistent view of the world. No, there is no consistent view of the world. There's actually 9 billion different points of view. Those 9 billion different points of view tend to vary wildly. And then and what we do is we go to Twitch, or we go to politics, or we go to a chat room, and we try to
Because you're an outside
square
observer who could spot an internal inconsistency in my worldview and point it out to me.
Okay. I appreciate you saying that. I really do. Usually people are just telling me why they're right and I'm wrong. Maybe I misunderstood what you were going for. The indiscriminate, the definition you've given for indiscriminate, I think, is to what was the percentage I think you came to on that chart?
So I am asking, have I made a mistake when I say, based on my definition, discriminate Israel is not indiscriminate?
I think you're not making a mistake. You're just having a different position. You just have a different point of view. That's not a mistake. if you said they are not, they are being discriminate, and they are killing only as doing a very good job discriminating between Hamas and the civilians, you can say that. That's an opinion. There's no right or wrong opinions, especially when it comes to the words like discriminate.
And that would make it wrong even with a different point of view.
No. You can have a different definition, but not a different definition. What I'm saying is you can have a different threshold. Thresholds, that's the word I'm looking for. My threshold for indiscriminate is simply higher than yours or lower than yours. Depends on which fucking direction you're going. 60% civilians, 40% dead Hamas, to me, feels like indiscriminate. If you disagree with that, that's fine. You
If
just
I
have a
said
different
Israel
threshold.
is not being indiscriminate, but my math didn't align with my reasoning, you could point that out.
Sure, but this isn't a math problem. as online people, we often think of things in terms of math. It's not a math problem. If it were 58%
But
instead
it
of
seems
60,
we agree my math does align with my reasoning.
your math aligns with your reasoning, yes. But by your math, I would then disagree with your definition of the word indiscriminate. I would put those thresholds in a different place.
Whereas your math says all wars are indiscriminate.
Maybe. Entirely
Well,
possible.
all wars currently known to human history.
Well, maybe. Maybe all wars are indiscriminate. Killing of civilians. Maybe all wars have this. If you showed me one that had a higher number of civilian casualties, then I would say that's indiscriminate as well. And that's okay. Even if it's for a thing that I would support, like World War II. I mean, I don't support everything that happened in World War II, but entirely possible that lots of indiscriminate killings happened there. I think that the dropping the bomb on Hiroshima killed lots and lots and lots and lots of civilians. That was indiscriminate, and we did it. Now, can you create a reasonable argument for why we had to do it? Well, lots of people have. Can you form arguments on why we shouldn't have done it? Well, lots of people have. But as to you specifically, Popog, your worldview is sound and backed by reason. You've simply got a different threshold. And that's okay. That's fine. That doesn't mean that you're wrong. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It doesn't mean that I'm right. It doesn't mean you're right. It doesn't mean anything. We would just argue the morality, maybe, of our different thresholds. One's better than the other?
To me, the underlying point is the IDF would be really bad if they were flipping coins to shoot people.
Well,
and the evidence suggests they are not doing that.
The evidence
which
suggests 60% of the people are civilians, which suggests that they're doing a very poor job. 60% of the people that they have killed are not combatants. By their own admission, the people who don't agree with them are saying it's 90%. That's not good. That's a very bad score. That were
the 50 is coin flip.
50 is coin flip. I mean, coin flip is 50, sure. And they're doing worse than that. If they were just doing a coin flip, maybe they'd be at 50%, not 60. Maybe they'd be better off if they were just doing a random coin flip.
A coin flip here would result in 99 civilian deaths.
No. It would... What? 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 Skeletor what? What?
Yes.
What? How did... I don't think I understand what you're talking
I will bet you
about.
as much money as you want.
I don't understand. How do you get to that point? The coin flip, heads you live, tails you die, to 1,000 people, you'll get on average 500 dead people. I mean, am I being crazy here?
You want me to explain the math in Discord?
You can, but if they're at 60%,
Because no way am I explaining it in chat.
that 50 coin flip 1,000 times gets you around 500 heads and 500 tails? Is that incorrect? Is that a crazy thing to say? I don't know how coin flip 1,000 times gives you 999 heads and 1 tails. I don't think that's how that works. Or 990 and 10. Maybe you're doing some of that fancy college math I don't understand.
You are correct about the number of heads and tails, but that's not what the civilian death ratio is based on.
The civilian death ratio is based on how many people are dead, how many were Hamas. Right now, that number is 60% were not Hamas. That's the best number they've got. It's probably closer to 70 or 80. If they were flipping a coin, heads you are Hamas and you die, tails you are not Hamas and you get to live, they'd be closer to 50% than 60. It wouldn't be near 99. I don't understand how you're getting there. I don't know what you're getting at, but that's
Wrong.
I mean that's how is that wrong? I don't know how that is wrong. It does. How could that be wrong? And we're not flipping a coin for every single human being there. We're flipping a coin for the people who are dead. I don't care about how many are alive. Maybe that's what you're. Maybe that's why we're miscommunicating. I'm not counting all the live people. I'm counting all the dead ones. Are you counting all the people that exist?
I am in the waiting room if you want the explanation.
Okay, let me finish losing to this boss, and I will hop over there because I want to hear what you have to say about this. If you're watching, if you're paying attention, hop into chat. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what you're feeling. I'm going to have Popog on here in just a moment. He is a frequent chatter and user of the Discord. He is very cool, and I trust him to be on the stream. If you want to be like him, if you want to be as cool as him, you can. You just have to go to the Discord and be a cool guy or cool girl. But I don't think there are any girls on the internet, so I'm not entirely sure that there are. I'm entirely sure that there aren't watching because there are none on the internet. So I am gonna die, Genie. Oh. I'm on the last boss right now. I might win this. I don't know. Do I have any
And
revives?
you have to not use slurs often enough to get auto-modded.
Yeah.
Why not? And you have to not use slurs often enough to get auto-modded. Why not?
Why not what? Died. Yep, okay. Why not use slurs? I'm on to you, Ponathan.
Join.
Yeah, why not join? Yeah, jump in. Alright, I'm going to swap over now. Hello, sir. Is you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
I hear you. Popog is here live on stream. Hi, everybody.
Can't prove that I'm alive.
I have a strong suspicion that you are alive.
It's a reasonable guess.
You could be an AI, to which you would also be alive. Hey, Ponathan's in here too. Hi, Ponathan. How you doing?
Can't hear him.
Not so good. The echo is killing me. I got to pause something.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Popog is going to
Alright.
describe the math to me. He's done an amazing chart in the Disagreements with Waldo channel.
Yeah, amazing
And-
is not the word I would use for this Excel sheet.
Popog definitely know a sock puppet.
Garbage might be the better word, but All right. So the basic premise that I'm operating on is I want to know if IDF soldiers are walking around Gaza flipping coins and shooting people on heads or tails, right? Where it's like, oh, it's tails you live, heads I shoot you, right? Because that would be bad. I think we can all pretty much agree that that's not a good thing if IDF soldiers are doing that.
Agreed.
So, in Gaza, there are approximately 2.3, 2.4 million people, right? Most of those people are civilians, right? Depends on what numbers you estimate for Hamas and Islamic Jihad. Hamas is basically the only one that's kind of big because they kind of killed everybody else off when they took power. So if you sum up all of them, you get somewhere between 10,000 or like 15,000 and 40,000. The most common number I've seen is 25,000 Hamas members at the beginning of the war, right? Before anybody got killed. Same for that 2.4 number. It's before anybody got killed. Is the estimates for 2.4 million.
Okay.
So that ratio is roughly 100 civilians to every one Hamas, or 99 civilians to every one Hamas member.
Sounds correct.
So that means we can kind of, if we just treat Gaza, just to use round numbers, just to make it easy to talk about, if we pretend Gaza only consists of, 100 people, and one of them is a Hamas member, right? If that IDF soldier, or maybe that's just how much, the IDF soldier sees in a day. An IDF soldier sees 100 people as he walks around Gaza for one day. He sees 100 people, right?
One of them was Hamas.
And one of those people was Hamas, and 99 of them were civilians. If he's flipping the coins on each person, right, he's going to kill 50 people, right?
Right.
And half of one of those people will be Hamas. So every 2 days, he will kill 100 people, and only one of them will have been Hamas.
Right, that sounds bad.
So if IDF soldiers were doing that, if they were coin flipping and killing people, they would kill 99 civilians and one Hamas member proportionately, right?
Okay.
So that's the math for if IDF soldiers were coin flipping, that is what we would expect to see, is approximately that ratio, which is why it's in the chart as fully indiscriminate. That is the scenario. That is what that scenario describes, is fully indiscriminate, right? And then there's one above that, which is targeting civilians, where they're identifying people. They're looking for the Hamas banner, and they're like, that guy's Hamas. I won't kill him so I can shoot more civilians, right? That is a worse scenario.
That is a worse scenario. I don't think that's what they're doing.
I certainly hope that's not what they're doing.
Doesn't seem like it.
But that is what I labeled in the chart as targeting civilians, because to me that's a pretty fair description in terms of like your intention is to kill civilians and to not kill Hamas.
You're wide open.
Right.
The intention is to kill them. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the crazy intention, and it's just in there as another reference point for like, what if they were like not just evil, but like kind of retarded evil, where you're like, let's let Hitler live and kill Germans. Like it doesn't even make sense in any of the scenarios, but it's in there just as a reference point.
Entirely
in
the chart. Gotcha. Agreed.
And then, the bottom one is based off of you can adjust it based off of, or at least I can adjust it based off of Hamas estimates to be max accuracy, which is if they were, in this case they have killed 35,000 and there's only 25,000 Hamas members, so they have to have killed some civilians. There's no possible way for 100% of the people, because that's more people than the 25,000 estimate. But the point of the table is to compare all of these different possibilities of, here's the first two and the last one are sort of behavioral possibilities, where it's like, this is what the behavior of someone who is targeting civilians would result in. This is what the behavior of a coin flipper would result in, and this is what the behavior of the most model possible soldier given the data would behave.
Okay.
And then I had put the three estimates that at least were in our discussion. The EU Mediterranean Human Rights Monitor, I think is what that stands for.
I don't know how good they are. They were just on the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, no clue who they are.
Never heard of them.
Gave out some number.
They gave out a number of 90%. I suspect that that's also overblown.
So if that number, so I included that number, I included the Hamas number, which Hamas at one point said that 6,000 of their soldiers had been killed. They've retracted that statement, but also, was it even trustworthy to begin with?
Right.
Who knows?
Can't really trust them. I agree.
And then I have the IDF statement, and which is the latest one is 13,000 plus 1,000 killed on October 7th. Is their latest statement is so
okay.
I believe based on the way most people are counting the deaths on October 7th as well as a part of that 35,000. So I've said 14,000 there. But I don't really know how comparable any of these numbers are to each other, because it's like Al Jazeera's numbers is the 35,000.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to say. So pick your own numbers. That's the point of all of these, is comparing and trying to get the understanding of, like, okay, how do the actual numbers compare to that coin flipping behavior as an example. And it'd be great if I could get comparisons for other wars and put them in here to see, like, because that to me is the more valuable question in terms of indiscriminate, is what behavior is this, are the actual numbers, or how does it compare to what behaviors would result in?
Okay, why isn't it? Where do you get the 99?
The 99 was from what we just discussed.
The coin flip is 50.
Yes, and if a soldier sees 100 people in a day and kills 50 of them, based on a coin flip, over 2 days, he would kill 99 civilians and 1 Hamas member. That's what we all agreed to. Right. That's where you get the 99 from.
So that's what the prior probability. You're counting all the human beings that lived in this situation. I'm counting the people who are dead. The ones who died, 60% of them were civilians. And that's entirely too many.
Which means we know that they weren't coin flipping. Because there's no way they could have been coin flipping to get that 60%.
Because that would have been 50%. Well,
it would have been.
It would have been 99 total, but it would have been, that's 2%, not 50.
Explain to me the behavior that would have occurred to get 60%. So you have an IDF soldier, and he's going to kill, in the IDF's world, 14,000 Hamas members and 20,000 civilians.
Yes.
What is he doing? So he's walking around Gaza and he's encountering people. What is his process that results in this? Because every day he's going to encounter 99.
Kill lots of people.
Sure.
He doesn't know who's in the building. He doesn't know who's in the hospital. He doesn't know who's in that college. He doesn't know who's in that ambulance. They die.
Okay, so we're going to treat every one of those as just an encounter, that he has encountered that person, right? And then he's bombing them, he's shooting them, he's mortaring them. It doesn't, how he kills them is not super important to the math of it, right? He encounters that person. He is going to encounter 99 civilians to every 1 Hamas member he encounters. Through random chance, because that's how, assuming that he's not doing any discriminating, right? But if he's getting intelligence that is at all reliable, that there are Hamas members, right? That counts as discrimination then. Because he's like, oh, that's a Hamas base. And even if the intelligence is, only right 75% of the time, so long as it's more accurate, if the intelligence is truly random, if it's bad garbage intelligence that's just as good as flipping a coin, then we're not going to call it intelligence, we're going to call it coin flipping. And we know that coin flipping results in 99 civilian deaths to 1 Hamas death.
Right. They're not encountering everybody every day. Can I give you a weird analogy?
Yes.
When I was in junior high or something like that, there was a math teacher who wasn't very good at his job. He was actually a football coach.
Shocking.
So he was a football coach, and he wanted to be a football coach, but they saddled him with teaching math during the day. He wasn't very good at it. And he told the whole class, that a homeless guy sat next to a bridge. This is a very common analogy that boomers used to use, is that he would sit next to a bridge and beg for money, right? And if 1% of the cars that went over that bridge gave him $1, he would be a millionaire. And everybody's like, "Oh wow, that's amazing, so amazing! Oh gosh, he's probably a millionaire." And this made them distrust homeless people. You can, in fact, get less than 1% of money from these people. If that homeless man knocked on every single car window that came across that bridge, and 1% of them gave him money, he would be a millionaire. But he doesn't encounter 1% of those cars. He encounters only the ones that are in the right lane, and even then, you can get less than 1% from those people. So less than 1% is possible to give him money. So he won't be a millionaire. I argued this with him back then, but it's very hard for bad mathematicians to recognize that there is things smaller than 1%. That's what I'm thinking. That's what you're sounding like to me. Is that he's encountering every single Palestinian every day, and they're not.
He doesn't have to encounter every single Palestinian every day. If he encounters 10 Palestinians a day, right?
The ones that they have encountered with, that have died, 60% of them are civilians.
Which is better than chance, because chance would say 99% of them would be civilians.
What?
Because the baseline is 99%. If 99% of apples are fresh and 1% of apples are rotten, if you grab a random apple, what are the chances it was a fresh apple?
In that one specific thing? Doesn't it go down to like 50-50 or something like that?
It's 99%.
99%. Okay, great.
99% fresh, 1% rotten.
Okay, great. I agree.
So if you grab a random apple, it's probably a fresh apple.
Okay, I agree.
By 99% odds. It's not 50-50 just because there's two options.
No. I thought you were going towards that one thing where, so if I flip a coin and it pops up heads 100 times in a row, what are the odds that the 101 turns up heads?
Those are 50-50.
Those are 50-50.
Independent sampling.
Right, independent sampling. Right. That's what I thought you were aiming for. Sorry. So, yes.
No. And that's the point here is they are doing sampling of some nature to the Palestinian population when they encounter them, and then they're choosing to shoot or not shoot, or bomb or not bomb. And those, if you put no effort in, if you and I walked around Gaza as soldiers and with all of our amazing training shot at people, we would kill mostly civilians. Specifically, we would kill 99 civilians and 1 Hamas member out of every 100 people we killed.
Right.
Because you and I are garbage idiots with no training, no intelligence, no discrimination. We don't know what we're doing.
And they've gotten that down to 60.
Correct. They've gotten from 99 down to 60.
I still want it lower.
That's perfectly fine to want it lower. I'm not saying you can't want it lower. I'm saying why if they were flipping coins, if that was the process they were doing,
and they did it for every civilian every day.
They did it for any people they encountered every day. If they encountered 25 people a day. If they encountered 1 million people a day. If they flipped a coin for each person that they encountered and shot them or did not shoot them on that basis, they would kill 99% civilians and 1% Hamas.
So they're being 30% discriminate? Is that
It depends on what you want to use as the metric for discriminate, right? Because if you're using the sensitivity, then they're being 56% discriminate. If you're using the positive predictive value, they're being 40% discriminate. If you're using the markedness, then they're being 39% discriminate. If you're doing the Jacquard index, it's 30% discriminate. And if you're using the phi correlation, which is like it's correlating how correlated is being a Hamas member with being killed. Right, it's taking those two Boolean variables of being a Hamas member and being killed. How correlated are those two? Israel's numbers say that they're 46% correlated, whereas 0% is the coin flipper, and minus 100% would be the we killed all the civilians and no Hamas members.
Okay. I understand your math. I understand what you're going for. And are they indiscriminate? Colloquially. Can I call them colloquially indiscriminate?
Hey, you can define the word however you want to. You can say they're being indiscriminate if they've killed a single civilian. That's you choose how you use words.
Right, and they're too indiscriminate for my taste at the moment. Being
they're not discriminate enough for you.
Right. They're not discriminate enough for me. I want them to do a better job determining who is and isn't.
Waldo is supporting discrimination again. This
Absolutely.
You guys heard it here first.
Oh hell, I'll even. I love discrimination. It's great. Not really, not in a bad way, but in certain situations, yeah. I have a plan that uses discrimination in to get rid of who are those people that the NSA, not the NSA, the people at the airport.
TSA?
TSA, yeah. I think you could discriminate people and get away.
You love the Palestine bullshit is so
Sorry,
delicious
Tyler's
to you
talking
forget
about you.
America's problems. Let's go pay all our attention to a foreign nation that's insignificant to American life.
Sorry, Tyler's talking in my ear. Chat heard that, but you didn't.
Yeah, I can read it though.
Yeah, and it's hard to talk when Canute's just talking. So yeah, I think discrimination could get rid of TSA entirely, but that's a completely different subject. So I'm on board for.
So first you support ethnic cleansing the Palestinians, and now you support discrimination. These are the takes that come to this channel.
I know. See, exactly. We're extreme over here. Well, okay. I comprehend your math. I recognize what you're trying to say there, and they are better than chance. Yes. Because they have some form of intelligence guiding them and directing them, and they know who and what a Hamas member is and who is a civilian. So they're better than chance, much better than chance. They're 30-40% better than chance, and that's good. I wish they were better.
I'm sure they probably wish they were better too.
If they were at 90-95%, you wouldn't have the campus protests. You wouldn't.
I'm not sure that's true. For reference, the most modern wars
At
have
Waldo, is that your
between
boyfriend you are talking to Al?
60, 70, and 90%, and urban combat is almost exclusively 90% civilian casualties. So I don't know that people.
And we protested those. I mean, there were a lot of protests for the Iraq War, and we killed a lot of civilians there. And there were protests for Vietnam that were very famous, and we killed a lot of their civilians. We killed a lot of our civilians there too. I mean,
Vietnam actually I think has less civilian casualties, partially because it's not an urban combat.
Okay.
There wasn't a lot of urban in the jungles of Vietnam, surprisingly.
Yeah. So if it were 90%, if they got it to 90%, you wouldn't have the campus protests, or they wouldn't have as much weight. The college kids will protest everything, and they should, and that's great. But if it were closer to 90%, they would have a lot less to complain about. And then I would be less sympathetic towards them, and then the news wouldn't be sympathetic towards them. That kind of stuff.
I don't know that any of those are actually correlated. They may be, but I'm not super convinced that they are.
I've listened to what they have to say, and they put that little girl's name on the on their signs. They're talking about children and women and children that are being murdered. If they talk about one, or that's sad, but that's one. If they're talking about 20,000, well, then they've got a much better talking point, don't they?
No, they don't. From a human psychology standpoint, it's just the names and the stories that matter. The people don't understand numbers. People don't care about numbers. Like, people think that the numbers are disproportionate or indiscriminate, but the math behind the numbers says that they're not.
So they should wipe them all out, and then we would have too many names to learn.
Honestly, there is some evidence that says that that's true, which is like awful, but that people care less. Like, if you can flood a bunch of stories about different people suffering during a conflict, if you increase the number of names up to some threshold, people start to tune out
Waldo's
more.
boyfriend stopped making Waldo talk word salad.
Yeah. It becomes overwhelming, and people like ignore things that are worse because there's more information about it. So, which is not a comforting idea, where it's like, well, hey, if you actually went and did some genocide, you get away with it.
Right. Let's not do that. Yeah. Don't let everybody know about this psychology thing. It's bad. Don't study psychology. That's what I think you're telling me, and I appreciate that. Thank you. That's very nice.
I'm saying first people to be genocided should be all the psychologists.
Psychologists, get rid of them first. You're selling me a little bit. I'm contemplating that right now. But then who would fix Tyler? Tyler in chat. Thank you for being here. You got any actual takes? You got any actual things to say? Love the Palestine bullshit. It's so delicious to you. Forget America's problems. Go pay all our attention to a foreign nation that's insignificant to American life. We're giving them lots of money.
No genocide happening, but keep selling the crap.
There's an ethnic cleansing happening, Tyler, I think. I think you've had Popog, you've had a stance on that as well. It's not a genocide?
Yeah, my stance is that it is extremely unlikely to become a genocide. It's currently not a genocide. And that I've bet you, I think $5 in the Discord, that by a certain date, the Palestinian population will remain above some certain number in Gaza.
Yeah, I think it was like 2 million above by a year from when you said it, but something like that. But
yeah, something like that.
I don't think that'll be the case. I think it is an ethnic cleansing. Tyler, it's an ethnic cleansing. They want all the people of a certain ethnicity to leave this area. Whether they leave into another country or they leave in a body bag, it's up to you. It's up to them, because sometimes.
It depends, like, for most considerations of ethnic cleansing, it has to be sort of, let's say, pseudo-permanent. If you could define, depending on how loose you want to be, any forced movement of people out of a location as ethnic cleansing, but then you do run into things where you're like, okay, but if you're moving out them, like if you're evacuating people for a hurricane, right, and they don't want to leave, if you force them to leave, that would qualify under ethnic cleansing, even if you let them come back after the hurricane.
Love your boyfriend,
so that's the outcome that we have to wait for here is, does Israel maintain an exertion of control over Gaza such that it forces people to live in specific locations, which that would be ethnic cleansing.
Right.
And it would be the second ethnic cleansing of the Gaza Strip, as the first ethnic cleansing would be the removal of the Jews by Israel. So Israel's already done an ethnic cleansing of Jews from the Gaza Strip.
When did they do that? Oh,
2005.
during the 2005. Okay, so they, in an attempt to create two ethno-states rather than one melting pot one. I think that was a dumb idea too. Ethno-states don't work well. I don't like ethno-states. I don't want any of them to exist. Ethno-states are a bad plan. They were built as one. I mean, the British guns and the American military and put together an ethno-state back in the 40s, and I don't think that was a good idea. We did it for a good reason.
It may not be a good idea, but the problem is the options here are remove democracy and rule over all people here and just, be a dictatorship and force whatever rules you want. No ethno-state, right? That's an option. You can do that, right? So it's not a Jewish ethno-state. It's not a Palestinian ethno-state. It's a melting pot run by an iron fist who murders anyone who disagrees, and there's no voting allowed.
Like warlord shit? I don't think that's a good idea either.
It has its downsides, but it does remove the ethno-state. The other option is give control of it to one of the two groups, right? And you can do that in any way you want. You can say it's a democracy and everyone can vote. Well, that means if you engage the right of return, then it's a Palestinian majority. That Palestinian majority vocally supports creating an ethno-state and removing all of the Jews.
Yes, they do.
That democracy would do that.
I know.
If you don't do that and you leave control as it currently stands with the Jews, they will vote to not allow the Palestinians the right to return.
Right.
And so it will remain an ethno-state. So those are really the only three options: are warlord and force them all, or let them, or you could create an Arab warlord or a Jewish warlord state.
No, it would be an
and
American
have them
warlord.
rule.
I mean, the CIA would
But
do it. Well, I don't think that's a good idea either. Yeah.
Any of the democracy options are going to result in ethno-states because everyone supports that.
Right. And that's why we can't solve the problem easily. I do think I have a very awful solution for it.
Implement an electoral college
Well,
to
I've already
Palestine
given my
problem
awful
fixed.
solution, so let's hear yours.
Every Palestinian that wants to leave gets to leave. And we put them in 1,000 different places across the globe. That's it. They don't get to have one large country, and is that the end of Israel, end of Palestine? Yes, that's sad, but that will keep them alive. Will there be people who disagree with that plan and don't want to go? Yeah, sure. But
You
they
will
can
have
stay.
to get rid of the UNRWA, UNRWA.
Yeah, they're against it too, aren't they? Because they want Palestine to be a country.
Well, they're also specific. That's what their specific mandate is. So there are two refugee organizations in the UN. One of them is the normal refugee org that helps all refugees find a place to live and live a good, happy life, right? And that's their mandate, is they take every refugee they can, they find a place anywhere in the world, doesn't matter where, get that refugee there, get them a job, get them start integrating, help them out, give them back rubs and feel all nice, and have them have a better life for them and a good life for their children, and then they become members of that society and
I love this.
live on forever.
This sounds great. But we can't do that for Palestinians.
No, it is against the UN's policy to do that because there is a separate Palestinian refugee organization which does not have helping Palestinians in any way, shape, or form under its mandate. That is, in fact, arguably completely against its mandate if it were to give Palestinians a good life anywhere else in the world. Its mandate is to keep all Palestinians as perpetual refugees in whatever country they're in, such that they can never gain citizenship, so that they must be eventually forced to live only in Palestine when it is eventually created.
That's dumb. I hate it.
Yep, it's not a good option. It is, in fact, a terrible one.
What's the name of that one? UNWR?
RWA. It's pronounced UNRWA, but I always forget if it's like WRA or RWA.
I'm going to read about that later, and then maybe do some research.
I'm obviously giving it the
type
least
stuff.
charitable reading because they do some good things also. But that if you like the way that the mandate of that organization has created, it's the other thing where I agree with you on the apartheid state in the West Bank. I think that people who don't agree with that are like, they're sort of maybe technically correct, where in certain ways it's not a racial apartheid state or an ethnicity apartheid state. It's a nationality apartheid state, which is like weird. Because it's like, obviously American citizens have different rights than Canadian citizens in the United States, right? We can't be kicked out of the United States, but a Canadian could be deported. And so that's like a different set of laws that can apply to a Canadian than they can to an American. So, but that's not an apartheid state. That's just, well,
it's two different countries.
Yeah, it's two different countries. You don't have citizenship here. And that, but obviously, and that, there's nuances to that, but the way in which that's applied in Israel is definitely
Waldo
less
likes
that
to hear your voice.
and
Be careful.
more weirdo,
don't recommend being his
bad.
girlfriend. He a rad lib.
But the issue is that every other state around Israel is also an apartheid state for Palestinians. Every single one of them. Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, Egypt.
Yeah.
Every single state there is like, by the way, Palestinians, here's your special Palestinian permit. You can't leave the camp that you're in.
Right.
Your children inherit your status.
Yeah. Can we do a better job? Why are they treated so weirdly? Strange.
Yeah, it's a rough puff pastry, I guess. But I don't. So it's I don't. I don't foresee any of it super changing, but I will bet against you on the genocide. If you want to bet on the ethnic cleansing, I mean, the ethnic cleansing is sort of in that as well, because it's if the population remains there, then they won't have been ethnically cleansed.
Not successfully. You can, I mean, yeah, attempted murder isn't murder, but it's still not a good thing.
Ethnic cleansing is just like normal cleansing. Attempts, it doesn't really matter. You actually have to go shower once in a while. Well, nobody's gonna like you if you don't.
If they're intentionally moving the people out that are there based on their ethnicity, I mean, is that not the ethnic cleansing idea?
So the real,
hold on, one sec. Tyler, he can't hear you. Tyler thinks you're my boyfriend, so it's very sweet of you. Thanks, Tyler. I appreciate it.
Nice.
Anyway, ethnic cleansing. Please continue.
Oh, so the real reason why they're not going to ethnically cleanse them is because there's nowhere that would actually accept them. So you'd have to move them to somewhere.
On, man, you have a
and
wife.
Israel's
Don't
not going to go to war with Egypt. They're not going to go to war with Lebanon. The theory could be that they would put them in Syria, but I don't see that happening either.
I mean, if they just move all of them just somewhere, or the rest of them die. I mean, they kill 30,000 more, and then they ship all the rest across the world. I mean, that's ethnic cleansing.
That would be, but Israel, like, you have to find somewhere that would take them, and
we do Waldo's plan, and they all go to 1,000 different places, and then we do the good side of the UN, and they all get removed to better places. I mean, that would be an ethnic cleansing, and I'm not on board for ethnic cleansing, but I'm on board for people living. If the option is they all die slowly over the next 10 years through bombings, attacks, starvation, and on again and off again attacks where Israel takes more and more land, or we put them in 1,000 different places across the country or across the world, that's what I would choose, that second one. And would I be doing an ethnic cleansing at that point? Maybe, but it doesn't look like there's any other option.
If it's voluntary, it's not an ethnic cleansing.
It's voluntary. Right? It could be, yeah.
If it's forced, then it's ethnic cleansing, right? That's the, like, if it's just people want to leave a place, then that's just migration, right? But even if it's that a place sucks, but people choose to leave it, it's still migration rather than ethnic cleansing. Ethnic cleansing is do or die, and by the hand of someone.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So then I'm not supporting ethnic cleansing. I'm just.
I'm glad I could talk you down from supporting ethnic cleansing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's why I bring you on. Bring people on. Tyler, that's why I bring him on, so that he can talk me out of all the ethnic cleansings that I want to do. I appreciate you coming on. Thanks for helping out. Thanks for understanding. I like it that you're in chat. I like that you're in the Discord and bringing sense and logic and intelligence. Tyler, this is Popog. He types into the chat often. And because he's proven that he's not a terrible, horrible, nightmare human being who types slurs, apparently, into Twitch chat, I have allowed him to come onto voice. You see, you could be better, Tyler. I promise. If you are watching and you want to go to the Discord, you can.
Discord.
Go right to that Discord.
https Discord GG Beignet Tritix 8.
And tell us why we're wrong. Tell us why we're right. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. If you want to go to the YouTube page.
YouTube. https www.youtubecom at waldovideos.
All of the videos, all of the live streams get uploaded there and then turned into little snippets. I'm about to call it off for the end of the night. Popog, any parting words? Any parting memes that you want to talk about?
No, I have no good memes.
All right. Okay.
Only bad memes.
Only bad memes, right. So I am... This dog will not leave me alone. I'm going to have to go and play tug of war with him for the next couple of hours.
Good luck. Have fun with the brainworms, I guess?
Yeah, brainworms. That's our new meme. I need a brainworms emote, maybe.
And then we can spam it at KBP every time he gambles.
Right. We can do... I bet there's already a brain one and then a worm one. We'll just combo them together. Brains and worms. Okay. That could be fun. He's not here to defend himself either, so that's good. And with that, everybody, have a nice night. I appreciate you coming in. Thanks, and goodbye.
Brainworms made me vote independent.
Brainworms mentioned